Death of a Bounty Hunter. A Bayad Tall Tale. Written by J. Sherer and Nathan Scheck. Illustrated by Nathan Scheck. Edited by Jessica Sherer. Cover art by Malachi Ward. Death of a Bounty Hunter was produced by the Reclamation Society. For more information, please visit www.reclamationsociety.org. Copyright 2020. J. Sherer and Nathan Scheck, all rights reserved. Death of a Bounty Hunter, Part 1. An excerpt from the Book of the Preacher, Homily 326. And unto you I say, a man must acquit himself of the low nature which is his wont, that which striveth against its fellow man towards its own ends. For therein lies the path of the devil, and for the one for whom ruination bides. Partake not in the treacheries of the present darkness. Such works are but fleeting shadows to be scattered with the dawn, and your soul shall be likewise. Repent, therefore, and do not tarry, for the hand of God smiteth the heathen, but the water shall wash him clean. Chapter 1. The Thief. Narrated by Flint.
Die, you slant-jawed rat bastard!
He spits and grunts, trying to wrap his massive steel hands around my throat. I squirm to the side as one of his heavy gear and piston-driven fingers scrapes my shoulder. Steam escapes from the fine-tuned mechanics. It's no louder than a whisper, but right next to my ear, the hiss sounds like a snake about to strike. If his fingers find my neck, I'm dead, I think, and it'll be my own damn fault because I never saw it coming. He's sitting on my chest, pinning me to the ground while trying to tear my head off, and I'm still not sure how it's even possible. How the hell's he doing this? I shove my right hand into his face and reach for his eye. He growls and tilts his head back to prevent my finger from digging into the socket. Then he brings his left hand down in a sweeping arc aimed at my head. I roll hard to the side, barely avoiding the heavy fist as it slams into the dirt. Almost lost an ear. Gotta get him off me. Desperate, I throw a left jab that catches him on the chin. When his head snaps back, I grab a handful of dust with my other hand and throw it in his face.
Shut my eyes!
I grab his shirt as close as I can to his neck and push him back. Blinded by the dust, he throws a wild haymaker at my head. It hits nothing but air. His other hand goes for my neck again. One of his fingers thumps the side of my skull, and it feels like the head of a hammer. And then, with a quick twist of his hand, he manages to slide his fingers around my neck. So this is how I die. Head ripped off in the middle of the desert. Great. His bloodshot, dirt-infused eyes go wide, and an evil grin creeps across his lips. The alloy fingers squeeze. I try to gulp down one last deep breath, but it's too late. My air's cut off. And in seconds, those inhuman hands will collapse my trachea before separating my head from my torso. I close my eye and wonder whether or not it's worth throwing up a desperate last-minute prayer. Who the hell would I pray to, I wonder? This isn't the way I intended to die. Damn you, Harold Plunkett. And damn me for letting you rip my head off. I'll see you in hell and return the favor. I resign myself to the blackness of death when I feel the alloy fingers begin to twitch. An irregular spastic jolting. With each odd convulsion of his fingers, the pressure on my neck eases. My eye jumps back open in time to see Plunkett's grin fade.
No.
With one last convulsion, his grip fully releases. I open my mouth and try to gulp down air, but get nothing. Plunkett scrambles off my chest and dives for my satchel. He needs what's in that satchel, I think. He needs it bad. I roll over, try for air again, and get a second helping of nothing. I'd been using the satchel as a pillow before Plunkett's ambush woke me. He grabs it and tries to rip the flap open. My right hand finds the .45 caliber herb on my hip. I suck down a clean, clear breath of fresh air as I draw the pistol. The onset of oxygen feels like new life. I roll over and aim the herb .45 at him. "Hey, shithead." I manage to choke out of my burning throat. He turns his hate-filled, red-rimmed eyes on me. A loud hiss comes from his steel hands. His fingers lose their grip on the satchel and it falls to the ground at his knees. He looks down at it lustfully, like a prisoner staring at a set of keys through the bars of his cell. He's so close, and yet it might as well be halfway across the desert for all the good it does him. "You done?" I ask. He falls back into a seated position in the dirt and glowers at his lifeless hands. The fingers are frozen as if he can no longer control them. Strands of sweat-soaked gray hair, which are usually combed over his bald scalp, stick to his forehead, and his white mutton chops are muddy with dust and sweat. He lets the iron hands fall to the desert sand.
"You win, chink."
"It's Flint," I say. I take a deep breath and stand. A wave of dizziness washes over me, and then a lightning-like pain strikes my brain. My neck's throbbing too, but at least I'm still alive. Keeping my pistol trained on him, I glance over at the spot where I'd tied him up. My rope lies there in the dirt, snapped in half. Those gauntlet-like hands of his hadn't been working when I'd bound his wrists, and they sure as hell aren't working now. When I'd found Plunkett back at the brothel, his hands had still been powered by the energy cell he'd stolen. I'd removed that energy cell after subduing him the first time, and his hands had stopped working right then and there. But those same hands had been locked around my throat only a minute ago, and seconds before that they snapped the rope I'd used to bind them. Somehow he'd managed to work those gears and pistons without an energy source, which could only mean magic. You can power your hands with magic, I say out loud. It's a conclusion and a question all at once. He lifts both hands and lowers his head in a mock bow. "Why steal the power cell then?" I ask, but I already know the answer. Looks exhausted, as if he's been hammering railroad spikes into the ground all day long. The mental, emotional, and physical energy he has to expend in order to power his hands must be completely draining. That's why he had less than a few minutes to make his escape and kill me, and also why he stole the energy cell in the first place.
Or should have gone for the energy cell first.
Nah, you should have taken the herb and put a bullet in my head. He lifts his right hand, and even that seems to exhaust him.
Look like any of these fingers would fit through that trigger guard.
Shit luck then, I guess, I say. He scowls at me. If he could still move his fingers, I have a feeling he'd give me the middle one. Instead, he grimaces.
Do me a favor, Flint the chink. Shoot me.
Not today, Harold the asshole, I say. My one eye narrows. Years ago, I'd have already shot the bastard. But not now. Not anymore. These days, those kills are weighing on me. I holster my gun and walk to the satchel. Picking it up, I pull out another cord of rope from inside. It's my last one. Sighing, I put it back and pull out my only set of manacles. At least I've got options. Think you can break these? I kneel next to him and fasten the manacles to his upper forearm, just above where the steel connects to his flesh.
Give me your pistol then, or I'll do it myself.
Trigger guard. Remember?
Damn you, just shoot me and be done with it.
The energy cell he stole is worth a small fortune, but not all juries would hang him for it. He could get lucky. Besides, I've done enough killing for one lifetime, and I'm barely a quarter of the way through mine, I think. When he realizes I won't do it, he spits in the dirt.
Go to hell, Sineman,
he says before falling silent. I'm glad for that. My throat feels like shit. I walk to what looks like the least uncomfortable spot of earth around. Lying back down, I set the satchel under my head, just like before, and then realize there's no way I'm closing my eye this time.